F-bombs are armed and will likely be dropped. Okay, let me make sure I got that muted. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay. Oh. Well, it says I'm live, and it's usually true, so barring another sound problem. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay. Make sure the sound is working. All right. Everything is working. Okay. Warning, F-bombs are armed and will probably be dropped. Buckle. Very sorry about your ankle, honey. No pun intended. That sounds like a tough break. Both of them? Yeah, both of them. Well, I hope you get well soon. I'll say a prayer for you. So will everybody else in the chat because, well, I scare everyone, so they're going to do it just so I don't scare the shit out of them. All right. Wednesdays are supposed to be the Ask Me Anything. Today, to hopefully encourage people to ask questions, I left the link to this chat open, or to the stream open, so don't be afraid to try and piss me off. Remember that if you say something that'll affect the channel, I gotta kick you out. Welcome back, Luke. Oh. Sorry, guys. I'm not quite used to wearing glasses. Hi, Ghost, you're here. I thought you would have hit the rack by now. Well, that's cool. Don't worry, I won't spurg out on Fix again. Right. I'm not touching the Kenosha thing today. I'm just not even going to touch it because they already shut down Rakita like twice in 4 hours. He was off. They let him back. They kicked him off again. I am going to say, excuse me. I am going to say, though, that there were fights reported around a major event yesterday. So probably doesn't even matter what happens tomorrow. There will be more fights. A lot more fights. One side is going to fight no matter what happens. That's the truth. If they win, they'll take it as a sign. See, we told you we were right. We're justified in fighting, and now we're going to fight some more. And if they lose, they're going to say to the whole world, see, the system is flawed. We have to fight. Either way, the fights break out again. And this time it's probably going to be a lot worse than the first time around as it relates to that particular incident. It'll only be a few days, I think, but the fight that started all this will be nothing compared to what couple days of fighting we'll have. Okay, so let's get into a topic anyway. Why should any of you support mandatory anything? All right, so I was in somebody's live stream. I'm not going to name names unless they throw themselves under the bus, which will be in comments, I'm sure. Oh, this was about 6 months ago. They were interviewing somebody involved in mental health sector. Now, I love what this mental health group is doing, and I'll talk about it at some other point under some other circumstances, because I might have to say something that sounds disrespectful, and I don't want to. I don't want to throw them under a bus. I said something to the effect of how much I support their efforts, and they said they don't support mandatory anything. Now, of course, you can't see this through a live stream chat, but at the other end, I was sitting there chuckling. I actually was amused because, see, I don't support mandatory much of anything. So why should you be supporting something that I'm telling you I don't really like myself? Well, the whole world is going down two roads. There's a lot of off-ramps on both, but it's easier to build roadblocks along one road than it is the other. I'm talking about the gun control debate specifically. Those who support gun control and want us to go down their road, hey, Squatch, those who support gun control, they're making every roadblock go away because there's no way to block them. They can raise the standards. They can change the definition of assault weapon for those of you who are old enough to remember the 91 bill passing. I remember Papa Carey. I think it was the summer of 91, wanted me to get an AR-15, and I didn't want to get one. I didn't need one. I didn't see a need for one. Well, this thing is coming down the road. Well, yeah, it is, but it's only 10 years. It'll go away. Okay, I might have been a little bit of an optimist back then. I was a freshman in high school. What the fuck did I know? But they get this temporary roadblock towards any kind of gun rights, which I'll come back to that in a second. They got this temporary big roadblock and forced us all over onto their road. 10 years later, of course, that roadblock came down again. They're trying to rebuild it, and they're going to rebuild it. They've tried, 3 times in the last 12 years, and they're going to build another one. And if that one doesn't get built, they're going to build another one, a bigger one that doesn't have a sunset clause or something else. All right. So that's just guns, right? And just those scary, scary assault weapons that aren't. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, an AR-15 that you can buy is not an assault weapon. Period. It does not meet the second half of the definition. The funny part is there's some guy who converted a SKS to automatic. Now, that's illegal. Okay, fine, that happened. Maybe he did it legally. Brent used to do shit like that, and he had I think it's Class 7 license. He could do that shit. This guy converted an SKS to an assault weapon, to automatic, but it's still a fixed box magazine, so it wouldn't be an assault weapon. He just did it because he could, and that's okay. I get it. Either way, unless we put a huge roadblock on the road to gun control, They're just going to keep building those roadblocks and building those roadblocks and building those roadblocks. And they will never stop. For all of the bluster of the word mandatory, there's not so mandatory as you might think. Worst case scenario, you go in, you pay a fee, and you're exempt. Now I'd like to invite you to tell me where in any state or federal law, any other mandatory safety law, you can just pay a fee and ignore it. Please, by all means. Seatbelts. I'll just go down to DMV, pay the $200 seatbelt fee, and not wear my seatbelt. Go ahead, take your time. Construction sites. I'll just pay a $200 fee and not have to wear a construction helmet. Take your time. I'd be very curious to see anybody who can show me that exemption. With the exception of certain mandatory medical vaccinations, I have never heard of a religious exemption. Again, show me where religious exemptions exist for seatbelts or helmets or anything, really. Conscientious objector exemption for mandatory carry? Yeah, that's for religious. All right. It says conscientious objector. The reality is, if you're not religious, I can't see too many people qualifying. Hell, there's no political affiliation exemptions for seatbelt laws, and guess what? Violent political protesters are exempt. And that's the only one where if you get it, you got to go back and go through some real shit to reverse it. There is a certain individual who, when mandatory carry finally passes, would be exempt for life, even though he brought a gun to a political protest. Hell, I would actually pay to testify at his exemption hearing. Yes, Your Honor, even though he was not convicted of attempted murder, which is what he did, he's still exempt because he brought a gun to a political protest. Well, what about it? He didn't do anything illegal, so what's your point? Oh, excuse me. So if you can point to me any other mandatory law except vaccinations that have exemptions like those, by all means do so. Now here's a kind of chilling and alarming statistic. I sat down, this was about 3 years ago, and estimated that at any given time, about 10% of the U.S. population would be exempt, other than conditional. There's actually conditional exemption. If too drunk to drive, too drunk to carry. It's not that you're not allowed to, it's that you're allowed to not. But anyway, I sat down on other than conditional exemptions. I figured about 10% of the population would be exempt at any given time. And that's okay. If you can get to 25% that is exempt at any given time, you have a crisis on your hands. It means 1 out of every 4 people cannot be trusted with a gun. Whoa. You have a society that is so messed up that 1 out of every 4 people cannot be trusted. how violent is, how indifferent, how collapsed is your society? To put it very bluntly, Somalia is not that chaotic. Somalia, it's about 1 in 10. It's the problem is that 1 in 10 has all the guns. Fun fact, Vix Bayonet originally joined the Marines because she wanted to go to Somalia. They sent her to Bosnia instead. You don't always get to pick. Ooh, sorry. So, yeah, that's kind of a reality of the world. You know, this other group where they said they don't support mandatory anything, they were not being disrespectful. They were being honest, right? The most respectful thing you can be is honest. And if people don't like it, well, it's kind of their problem. For the record, I actually kind of agree. I don't like it, the idea of living in a world where you have to protect yourself sometimes either. I would love to be able to live in a world where I could walk down the street, State Street in Salem, down by the old Pepsi warehouse, right? So it tells you where I used to live, and not get harassed. Now, by the way, the old Pepsi warehouse on State Street in Salem was a place I was working as a security guard at one point in my life. So I'm literally 20 feet away from my car and away from my gun, even though I believed in mandatory carry at this point. I was not an armed guard, so I couldn't carry on duty. That's the truth. Literally right across the street was a meth dealer. Good. I found some guy who had apparently just been released from jail asleep on my site one day. I'm not even kidding, folks. There was no toilet facilities, so there's the gas meter, because it was kind of secluded. Once the sun set, I go over there, take a leak, no problem. I was doing that one day, and I hear this noise, and I thought it was the gas meter, and I realized it's too loud, and it's a couple feet past the gas meter. Turn on the light, holy shit, there's somebody sleeping there. And he had orange shoes on. Oh boy. Now, at that point in my life, I was also homeless, which is kind of a strange place to be. But anyway, find a homeless guy sleeping, call for the shift supervisor. He comes out. We chase him out. The shift supervisor is now a sergeant at the not Multnomah County Jail, the same county for Portland, Oregon. Hi, Cheese. He's a sergeant up at that jail. I know this because he told me at that point that that's where he was applying, and that those orange shoes were the ones that the county jail issued to people who came in without shoes. Oh, God. This guy just got out of jail, and he's homeless. The reason I called for backup, I didn't call the police department because they wouldn't come. I knew that. I knew this guy was homeless, and I knew I needed backup because this guy had a knife on him. If anybody would know what homeless people are like, that would have been me. It would have been me. And I found this guy here. So he comes out. We chase him off. Right, where was I going with this? And it can happen just that quick. Now, I had the pepper spray, which actually I wasn't allowed to have, but nobody would have said anything about that. That was also the last night that I didn't have my gun on me. Oh, it's concealed. I always kept it concealed. But after that, I kept it on me every night. Oh, excuse me. All right. I know there's at least 3 people watching because that's what YouTube is reporting. I know there's at least 3 people talking in the chat right now, so one of you better come up with a question. All right, for those of you that are on the East Coast, I am sorry to have you up this late. For those of you not on the East Coast, and for everybody else, because of that, I don't want to conflict with somebody else, so I tried to schedule around that. It's not working out the way we hoped it would, so this is going to be moving to Thursday at around 1600. Numbers are not set yet. Okay, it's interesting question. Caucasian Sasquatch asked, what is your favorite sausage? Spicy, Italian. And Cheese asked, what topic do you want a question for? Well, let's kind of keep it on the topic of mandatory carry or why to carry or related, but I'll entertain any kind of question that's appropriate. And I don't know what scrapple is, although I do know that word. So I don't know if I like scrapple or not. That's it for the tea, and I'm not doing coffee. Evening, Gulch. Oh, wow. Glasses make a huge difference. Small thing I was thinking about yesterday. Folding guns. Okay, I know this is kind of Kamajel, kind of out of nowhere-ish. But there was a company that closed up shop, I think it was last year. They made folding Glocks. Now, if I understood correctly, and I may not, feel free to correct me in the chat. They only did Glock 17s. That's it. They didn't do anything else. Okay. Maybe if they'd stayed in business a little longer, they would have done something else. Maybe not. They, if I understand correctly if I understand correctly, they closed up shop because the ATF started coming after them in a way that was not really appropriate. They were not the first, and I'm pretty sure they won't be the last. At least 10 years ago, there was another one, this FGM-9, I believe it was. It was literally a folding submachine gun. It would fit in your back pocket without optics. And I believe it used only about a 10-round mag. But it did fit. It did work. It was demonstrated, if I understand correctly, back in 2000, First demonstrated in 2001 at SHOT Show. That company's also gone away now. But they're also not the first. The first that I know of was the Dolnay pistol. It was a black powder pistol, 5-round revolver, folded up into a set of brass knuckles, and it had a penknife that could fold out. Most people know it as the Apache pistol. That's not the name. It is Dolnay. No emphasis mark anywhere in it. I would love to see that one come back. And I actually had a thought in this direction. Oh, hold up, guys. Cheese Bear's correcting me. Cheese Bear says it was the Magpul FMG9. Magpul's still a company, so they may have just pulled it off the market, or they may be doing something else that I'm not aware of exactly. But Magpul's still around, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. Luke, I saw that. I'll get to you in a second. What I'd like to see is the Dolnay come back as one frame, but 3 different types of cylinders, and almost a third again as long a cylinder. In the 10 millimeter, which means you could run 40s through it, 9 millimeter, and muzzle load black powder. That way you could switch between all 3 of the things that are going to be most common for the next at least 50 years. Also, get rid of the knife because it's not that good a knife. All right. The story that the knife was loose, no, not really. According to Forgotten Weapons, it's not that the knife was loose, it's just that every example is over 100 years old. The spring is not as strong as it was back when they were constructed. It's also not that great a knife. Just get rid of that. Extend the cylinder out a little bit so that it doubles as a barrel like the pepper box did, and rifle the barrel. Great self-defense option. You got 2 options in one: the brass knuckles and the pistol. And it would be very concealable. Also wouldn't be that good a weapon for attacking people because, let's face it, you're not going to get any real range out of that thing. You'd have to have 3 or 4 of them to effectively carry out a public no-no. All right. Luke Wee asked, what do you think of the what do you think of the YouTube new policy of only 20-round mags? Fuck that shit. That is the stupidest thing I've heard of. I'm actually considering just going out, taking all 10 of my 30-round mags, just mag dump, reload, mag dump, reload, mag dump, and just post that video. And go back to Papa Carey's place. Now that would actually really piss them all off, because Papa Carey's main house is in California. His secondary house is also in California, but way the hell out in the middle of nowhere, where every single one of the neighbors has an AR-15 and like 1,000 other guns. It would just, nobody would know. Oh, well, the neighbors is shooting. Who cares? I think I'll go join them. Sounds like fun. Yeah, and just mag dump, 300 rounds to piss them off. Okay, so that's like $300 down. Oh, hi, Bimby. Ladies and gentlemen, I know Bimby from Discord. I didn't think you'd come. Right. Squatch says, get it in 45, 410. I think you mean 410, 45 ACP. You do. And let me get back to you on that. That might be a legitimate option. It actually depends on how long that 410 shell is versus how long the cylinder is. And the problem there is if the shell is too long, then when it comes out the barrel, it'll connect with the upper receiver frame. That would be a bad thing. But that might actually, you might be onto something there. So we might have to do 4 cylinders. Bimby says, cap in black powder Claymore belt buckle. No. Let me put this very simply. No. All right. So a certain petty officer, Kerry, when he was at the port security unit, said something about mounting claymores on the outside of the boat. When I said he said the outside of the boat, he really did mean mount it outside the boat. What he didn't realize is that claymores have a back blast as well as a forward blast that's powerful enough to damage the boat. My assumption was, yes, it has a back blast, but the boat can handle it and it'll just break off and fall in the water. No, it'll blow sections of the hull out, and that would be a bad thing. So yeah, a Claymore belt buckle would be that much worse. Yeah, don't do that. All right. Oh, excuse me, guys. On the other hand, I can't read the chat right now. So I know I need these glasses that badly. Cheesebeards, RW, Romeo Whiskey, Bimby. Hi, Bill. I was pretty sure Bill would make it. It's Karn that is not going to make it. All right, Bimby, Bill. This is ask questions. That's the purpose of these live streams. Oh, excuse me. Preferably questions on topic. Where was I? Oh yeah, Claymore belt buckle's a really, really bad idea. I can't help you with that, Squatch. In fact, I don't think he knows a joke. He certainly doesn't know one as good as mine. For those of you that may have missed it, Caucasian Sasquatch is collecting up jokes. I only know one joke, but I think it's funnier than fuck because I'd be behind the fence. That's the real punchline of that joke. You got to be one of the two people in the story to be able to tell the story. I'm not criminal, though. Just saying. All right. speaking of Vil and Squatch and Karn, who's not here to defend himself, and oh well. All right. There's 2 trials going on right now that you should be paying attention to. One is a Voldemort. You can't talk about it on a live stream on YouTube because they'll shut you down. The other is in Atlanta, Georgia. You're not going to like this, folks, so brace yourself. The McMichaels are guilty. It's not first-degree murder. It's not second-degree murder. It's manslaughter. All right? Manslaughter is when you're doing something you really should be not doing, and somebody gets hurt. They were doing something they should be not doing. All right? It's not that they were doing something they should have not been doing. It's they really, really didn't do it the way they should have. All right? You drive backwards on a freeway and somebody gets killed. Well, this is kind of the equivalent of that. Even if you're going with the flow of traffic, you're driving backwards. That's not safe. That's a dumb thing to do. And it causes an accident and somebody gets killed. Or somebody is driving along, even if you're not in the accident, somebody else is driving along, sees a car going backwards, loses their own concentration for a second, and ends up wrapping their beamer around the rear bumper of an 18-wheeler. All right. In Atlanta, they thought they were doing something they should be doing. Well, they didn't know all of the facts, and that's okay. When the victim, oh my God, I forgot his name. When the victim saw 3 white guys rolling up in a truck with a shotgun, what's he supposed to think? Well, if he had just stolen something from that house, he'd probably be thinking they caught me stealing. He didn't steal anything. The only thing he's known to have stolen is a glass of water, or maybe a couple glasses of water. That's not a serious enough crime to get it to cry foul. All right. They thought they were doing something they had legal right to be doing, and they were wrong. They were mistaken. That happened. When he saw the shotgun, he reached for it because he thought his own life was in danger, and that's when things exploded in more ways than one. It's an unfortunate situation, and one that could have been avoided by leaving the shotgun at home. Even if they took guns with them, leave the shotgun at home. That was an unnecessary escalation. All right. I got to catch up on the chat real quick, guys, so give me a second. Luke asked, how many times did they change Joe's diaper today? No, I don't know. Squatch thinks it was 4. I'm not going to bet against that. Bimby asks, how loud do you think 300 blackout subsonic from a 24-inch barrel, no can? I have no idea. I've never actually touched a 300, blackout, legend, or otherwise. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen one in store shelves. That's as much as I know about 300. I've seen a video of 300 being fired blackout once and legend once The legend was reloads. That was the Idahoan show, where he demonstrated that you can make 300 legend at home from 5.56 shell casings. But, and this is a big but, it did not work out the way he had hoped. Little bits of brass dust were left in the gun from the process of wiping out those shell casings. So I think what Tim really proved is, no, you can't make 300 legend at home, or at least not from 5.56. The other one was Deuces and Guns, actually. And it was reloading 300 blackout with black powder because he'd seen something related to that on the TV series Revolution. Revolution. And it actually worked out very well for him. It was also very loud because it was black powder. So, okay. Bimby says, one trial, armed vigilantes chased a running guy they suspected of a crime, and so is the other. No. No. First of all, vigilantes is no. It's no. There was no vigilantism involved here. One case is 3 punks, 3 terrorists going after the fat kid with the gun because they thought they could cull him from the rest of the herd and take his gun and go kill everybody else. I might be a little mad. The other one is 3 guys trying to effect a citizen's arrest and did it in just a really dumb, stupid, inexcusable way. And it all blew up. Both of them blew up. But I absolutely refuse to accept the vigilantism claim. No. Squatch says, because it was under construction, it's not castle doctrine. I'm not familiar with Georgia law. I do know, even under some of the weird states, flag on the play, not Washington, Oregon, and California, but all of 47 of the other states, you do have a right to defend your business, your property. Like construction equipment. So, okay, Cheese says, regarding the Georgia case, I am not well read on it, but I have an issue with him going for the man's gun. He thought he was fighting for his life. And I swear to God, if you pull a shotgun out on me, I will try and take it from you. And that is the truth. I'm doing nothing wrong, and you pull a shotgun out on me, I will try to take it from you. Because I have before. In that case, I didn't manage to take it, but I did manage to jack up his plan so badly that he wasn't able to shoot me. And then I kicked him in the nuts. That was the night I learned to kick people in the nuts. Okay. Squatch said, the issue is the location. In a home, it would be justified, but a public accessible construction site, it's a case of not accepting vigilante violence. They were trying to effect a citizen's arrest, and they did it in the worst way they could have. It was a bad idea. Luke says, I can tell you 300 is very loud. Okay. Oh, I did not know this until now. Cheesebear says, granted, I am coming from a woman's perspective. Okay.
If a man hit me and goes for my gun, I hope I'm lucky enough to draw, shoot, and kill him. Well, shoot him. Kill sometimes comes with the territory of defending yourself. You don't have to kill everyone who attacks you. But if they're attacking you and they end up dead, it's still their problem. I'm not going to read that one, Bimby. And besides, don't you know, it's all about the iPhones. Okay, Squatch said, my subsonic 762 is loud as hell. Is that a 76239? Oh, 395163 or 25? 63, yeah. Squatch said, Castle Doctrine is specifically for homes and vehicles where retreat is not an option. That must be a Georgia law thing because that's not universal. Cheese is saying that she recommends kicking people in the knees. They're not expecting that. The gun that was pointed at me was not by a man. Okay. That's the way I roll. Okay, so it's 76239. Oh, I'm sorry. Luke is correct. He's also pointing out that 762 by 54 Romeo also exists. I forgot that. I forgot about that one, guys. So, yeah, just saying 762 isn't going to help me much. Shit. I forgot I'm out of tea. So, anyway, yeah, I'm thinking about doing that mag dump. There's a section of BLM land about a quarter of a mile from Papa Carey's place, and I've been thinking about going out there. I've been thinking about it a lot, but the California law being what it is, I can't shoot my AR there. Maybe I'll do it anyway. Q. Squatch asked, SK question mark? Is that SKS or did you mean to type AK? Oh, excuse me. And Luke points out that 76254 is the longest serving round in any military. Hold up, what about the 30-06, which is a 762 by 63? Okay. Cheesebear says, shoot it, kill, so the victim is unable to testify and exclude sympathy from the judge. Well, no. I'm going to say this the way it is. You shoot to kill. If they survive, it's not your problem either. Pop Carey tells me that when he was in Vietnam, 2 of his Marines died from a one-shot kill. Both of them were headshots. Okay. Everybody else who died from being shot was at least 3 shots. You shoot to kill
When the threat is stopped, when they are not going to hurt you anymore, that's when you stop. And if they're dead, that's not your problem. All right? Hey, don't try to rape people and you won't end up dead. That's a pretty simple concept. Don't try taking little old ladies' purses, little old ladies who used to be Marines. That's an actual thing. That was caught on film. And you won't end up in jail, black and blue everywhere, and still not get the purse. That poor guy. He got the shit kicked out of him by an 80-year-old woman who was a former Marine. I salute you, Sergeant. Bimby asked, do metric cowboys have 7.62 30 lever rifles? Maybe. I might convert. Geez, I don't care if you're a good person, a bad person, sweet, nasty trench rat like me. It doesn't matter to me. All right? What matters to me is you're at least trying to do it the right way. Flag on the play. Since I just talked about the McMichaels so horribly and awfully, I don't think they planned on killing anybody. I think they really did plan on going down there and holding this guy until the police showed up and then figuring out what the hell happened. And things just escalated out of control. That's why I believe it's manslaughter and not murder. Squatch says, prefer her armed. I'm not sure if he's talking about Cheese Bear because I want to say Cheese. I want to say Cheese is actually Squatch's wife. Now that I think about it, I believe that's correct. Or if he's talking about the former Marine. The former Marine was armed with her purse and her fists. Okay, I stand corrected again. I know I've seen Squatch refer to somebody in a chat as his wife. So, Bimby asks, you going to do a cooking stream someday? I can barely make mac and cheese. Does that answer your question? Okay. I'll try to keep that straight in the future there, Squatch. Okay. Luke says, I was looking into the 7.62 by 5.4 Romeo, and from what I can find, that round is the longest serving round in military capacity. Okay. It might be. It might be older than the 30-06. And I know it's older than the 50 BMG. We might be talking as little as a couple of years. I'm not sure. But I do know that it is older than the 50. And it's still in active service, mainly with the Dragunov and one other Russian design. I can't remember which one. Squatch, it's all over YouTube. Well, I respect Luke's comment. I could be wrong, though. It could be. And I'd still respect him if he was, because he's going with the best information he's got. Unlike that supposed football player we both know, or should I say knew, I don't pretend to know things I don't know. By the way, if you're going to spout some sort of fact about a gun, just a hint here. Be sure you know what you're talking about. There's a reason why a 50 caliber has never brought down any aircraft except when it was mounted on an aircraft. Any thought that they would be utile as an anti-aircraft gun is retardation at work. Not even in war zones. Moving on. Okay. Sorry, guys. Where was I? Oh, yes. Right. Bimby, I can barely make mac and cheese, so my chances of doing a cooking stream are no. You don't want to watch somebody food poison themselves. I'll tell you what, one day when I have a few $100s to burn, I will get spy glasses. And I'll make sure that it's quite clear that these are spy glasses. No dirty tricks, none of that. And go down to, I would say go down to Petro's and hit their salad bar, except that it's still closed. Excuse me. And that would be my idea of a cooking stream. Bimby says 303 started earlier than the 5.4 Romeo, but is anybody still using SMLE Enfields? First of all, SMLE Enfield, the E stands for Enfield. Second of all, no. Let me rephrase that. No organized army is. In fact, I don't even think any major insurgent or terrorist or regional force is still using SMLEs. No, Luke, I don't think you did. I think you might be. I think you just might be right. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know of anybody that still uses 30-06. That's the only one I can think of that is older than the 5.4. 303 might be older. So I don't think you worded it incorrectly. I think you're right. Also, a key word is active service. 30-06s, nobody uses them. 303s, nobody uses them. 308 is still in use, but only for very Limited. And if I understand correctly, 308 is actually new. This 76251 is not the 303. They're just very, very similar. I also have to admit that I don't know as much about the two of them as I probably should. I tend to stick to the things that I realize, yeah, I would probably use that. I stick to AR-15 in 5.56 because in the event of a major crisis, the U.S. military will probably be a major source of supply. Police departments, which run 223, what they don't tell you is it's actually a 5.56 firing 223, be a major source of supply. This also reminds me of something. For those of you that followed the events of Seattle last summer, you know about the guy who took the AR-15 out of the patrol vehicle. What you don't know is there were two others that were taken. I know some things about police weapons racks that is very disappointing and upsetting, and I'm not very happy about what I heard. Short version is there is one particular model that can be picked too easily, far too, actually two models. So I can talk about that a little bit more. One can be picked using a hand off of Lego Men. You take the hand and you put it into the locking mechanism just so, and it will pop open faster than it snapped shut. The other one I'm keeping to myself because I do know the secret and I don't want to give it away to everybody. But chances are you could find the way to pick that lock in the vehicle even as it's burning. Which is my source for this information, and he demonstrated it, so I know it's true. Called it inexcusable design flaw. He was being rather generous. Okay, Luke, I'm sorry. Nope, I can't do that. I don't like doing this, guys, but Luke, I had to take that one off because I don't want that in the general universe. And by the way, yeah, exactly. In fact, that's exactly the words he used, and because of what he does professionally, he only used the words inexcusable because he didn't want them to sue him, because he would know about that industry very, very well. So, Mr. Lockpicker, your tact is appreciated, and nah, fuck those guys. It was designed to be flawed.
Hey, Luke, forget about it. Forget about it. That's why I have the ability to remove comments. In case somebody says something that maybe they realize afterwards, oh, you shouldn't have said that. And I've done it too. Just not on Matt's channel. Bimby asks, AR is so old, it's not that old. When are they moving on to BR? Okay, Bim. I get the joke, though. Besides, shouldn't we be on to CR by now? And working on the DRs? Oh, moving on. Jesus. All right. Moving on. I've talked about my living situation in the past. I'm going to go a little bit on it. This is an old warehouse. What used to be the manager's office was converted to a separate apartment, but a separate apartment that can access through the office to the outside and to the main warehouse area. The office area is an office, and it's been fortified. Barred the windows, replaced the glass with bulletproof, which I told them was a bad idea, but whatever. What do I know? And reinforced the door and put a roll-up door, in. And we permanently sealed one of the vehicle doors because the rest of the building is pot grow. Yeah. The rest of this building is an indoor legal pot grow. Congratulations are in order. They made their first real sale last week. I didn't know about it at the time of the live stream, the Thursday live stream. I found out about it. It happened on Wednesday, and I found out about it Thursday afternoon. Basically, a full ton has arrived apparently in San Francisco and is going to be warehoused there for further distribution all the way up the West Coast. So, congratulations to my sort of business partners. I own this part of the building. I own 1/10 of the building, but I occupy like not even half that by square footage. If you count the office, which I can access at any time, because I have to be able to access it because it's my main way out, it'd be about 10%. Anyway, congratulations to my sort of business partners on your big sale, guys. Okay, this is a little confusing to me. Bemby says, well, they chose to excuse me. Well, they chose to call the M16B1 by some funny M4 name. Okay, well, that's true. The difference between an M4 and an M16 is literally just the barrel length. That's it. It's everything else is the same. It's not like the M263, right? Or the Fight Light. It's not a different mechanical function. It's the same mechanical functions. It's just a short barrel. Okay, Bambi, go back to your space, guys. I have no idea what he's talking about, guys. Just go with it. Ooh. So, yeah, congratulations, guys. This is actually good news for me because their business doing well means their part of the building will not get foreclosed on, and I won't get harassed by their bank coming after me for my share of the building. That was something I've been sweating for the last 6 months. Is if their business doesn't do well, that's going to come back and bite me in the ass. Even though everything is very, very clear, right? Including the city's zoning, whatever the hell, the zoning department. This building code enforcement. Code enforcement even said, okay, well, if you want to make this residential, you've got to meet these standards. If you want to make that industrial, which is what they called it, it has to meet those standards. And oh yeah, by the way, part of the residential has to meet the industrial standards. All this other crap. Now that my partners have taken off and are up to cruising altitude, their bank isn't going to come after them. That means their bank isn't going to come after me. It's happened to me before. A bank, when I was living in Sacramento, bank foreclosed on the building and then evicted everybody. Quite illegally, and they got away with it. I have no idea what that means, but anyway, all right. Since nobody's going to ask me questions, I'm going to throw one out there that nobody's ever asked me. Hey, Carrie, what's your favorite computer game? Fallout 2. Why do you not like Fallout 3? It's not the isometric versus first person, although I don't like first-person shooters, but that's totally irrelevant. And it's not the real-time versus turn-based. I played for about a week an online version of Fallout, and I found that online gaming is not for me. Really not for me. But I could also see, because it was both turn-based and real-time, and I could see there were times when real-time was actually better. That's the truth. A little more confusing, but once you get the hang of the keyboards, like quick reload, it's not that bad. It's a lot easier with an actual mouse versus a touchpad. Totally irrelevant. It was the attitude of the developers. And pay attention to this little rant of mine, and you'll understand a whole lot more. The developers at Interplay had an attitude about rebuilding the world, right down to sometimes literally building, right?
I'm trying to think of an example in Fallout that's specific enough. No. Okay, there's no time in Fallout where you actually build anything that I can remember. The attitude of the developers of Fallout really was rebuild the world. And yes, you got to break some shit to rebuild the world. You got to break some shit to save the world. Versus the attitude over at Bethesda. All he wanted to do was make a more ridiculously, pointlessly violent game. No, nothing else. He literally said, violence is funny. It's like Itchy and Scratchy and Jackass. That's why I hate Fallout 3. I don't like real time, generally speaking. And I can't do first person shooter, but that's not anything to do with anything. Because I actually had a shipmate who was playing Fallout 3. And I watched and I was like, let me see if I'm still on, guys. I might have just had a hiccup. Okay. All right. I am still on. I am. Because I was saying things earlier that the Reichsminister und Propagandum do not like, and trying to say it in a way that they can't do anything about, I'm always in danger of being shut down. If nothing else, the 20 round question, they don't like that. And it'll prove it was 20 round. Prove it wasn't 20 round. I'll turn the audio off. There. That'll piss them off. Moving on. Yeah. Cheese Bear says, shit tube does love to censor. Yeah, that's... Oh. I'm still, for another, I think it's 2 days, on parole for my last channel strike. You know, I can't even remember what that was for now. But I do know it was getting ridiculous. It's literally scientific information. What do you want me to say? They also will not allow you to talk about a particular piece of equipment, intubation equipment that carries light signals down into the human body in a way that will very quickly and effectively treat certain medical conditions. I know because I uploaded that once. They struck it right away. I put cute kitty videos in front and at the end. And that managed to stay up for about 2 weeks until it got struck. Okay. Cheese Bear says, I said turd tube. She did. My brother is sitting next to me and I got I.
I'm going to assume that was some sort of autocorrect auto failure because I'm not sure what that means. She did say turd tube. I said shit tube, ladies and gentlemen. That's on me. Meow. Papa Grilch says meow. Okay. Cheese Bear. Cheese Bear's brother, rather. I am a vulgar, nasty, despicable human being. This is actually my good behavior. When I start a stream or a video out warning no F-bombs are armed and they will not be dropped, that is because I've already tried to make the video twice and degenerated into a spluttering mess of nothing but expletives, some of which are not even in the English language. So, as you're watching this, bear in mind that your sister has no way to control what I'm about to do. I barely control what I do because that's just the way I am. And don't make any assumptions about what she did or did not do. Okay? Oh, good. He heard me. Ladies and gentlemen, F-bombs is not fuck. All right? It's another word. Starts with F and ends with T. And Squatch and Luke, and I think maybe Alpine, have heard me drop those F-bombs. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I this is my good behavior, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, Squatch is pointing out, I know all of the bad words. I even know what a Okama is. And I know what gringo really means. I know all the other bad words too, and I can use them all just as easily about anything. Okay. All right. Luke, you're always nice. It was great. Squatch got to see raw, unfiltered Carrie. Luke has seen raw, unfiltered Carrie. You don't even want to know what I'm actually capable of saying. I also almost got Squatch's channel yeeted with my language. Ladies and gentlemen, I really am the trench rat I describe myself as. A nasty, nasty, disgusting human being. Well, allegedly human. Anyway, the jury's still out. So, men will be men. No, I break that boundary. And I know I'm wrong. I just don't care. Like I said, I almost got Squatch channel yeeted. And by the way, Squatch, for what it's worth, I can be just as bad with everybody else.
Right. Moving right along. You should be supporting mandatory carry because when seconds count, the cops are only minutes away. And they always arrive just in time to draw a chalk outline around your body. That's the truth. Police have arrived in time to actually rescue victims less than 1% of the time. And that 1% of the time, if you really look at the facts of the case, you start to see a pattern. 99% of the time, the assailant had the opportunity to disappear, to go away, to be somewhere else by the time the cops showed up, with or without the victim. Right? Something in their brain malfunctioned just long enough that they stayed long enough for the cops to catch up to them. That's the truth. Whether they wanted to be caught or whether they're just stupid, that degree of stupid, or something else, they let themselves be caught at the end of the day. You do not have time to retrieve a narwhal tusk each and every time. That narwhal tusk incident by itself should have been enough for the Brits to say, wait a second, we really need to think about this. This isn't working the way we thought it would. The British experiment in gun control went like this. World War II ended. Communists are on the move. If we don't do something about gun control now, the commies will get guns, and then they'll just start killing people. Left, right, and indifferent. For those of you that love zombie movies, that was actually one of the themes of Dawn of the Dead. All right, join or die. It was anti-communist propaganda. Now there's some other anti-issue propaganda in there. Civil rights movement was one big part of the propaganda. But at the end of the day, the real thesis was anti-communist propaganda. So yeah, we got to take the guns because the commies will get them, and then they'll start massacring people. They didn't really think about something as simple as the commies are going to get the guns anyways. Various smuggling interdiction efforts just in Britain should have been enough for them to say, this plan is not working the way we thought it would. Maybe we should rethink this. They still are refusing to rethink it and actually leaning into this failed experiment. The 91 ban. I was willing to go along with this idea because, well, it's an experiment. Either we'll see results and the experiment was a success and they can say, yes, we did that, or it will fail, and then now what? Back then, I've said I was a gun control sport. I was willing to hear their case out. How much was I a sport? Not really at all. But I understood what they were trying to accomplish, and I was willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. They made their best case, and they failed. Their experiment failed miserably. The Australian experiment, same thing. British experiment, total failure. The French experiment was not only a complete and utter failure, but they were humiliated on international TV when a major gun battle between two groups armed with, I believe they were submachine guns, battled it out in the streets of Paris, the nation's capital. And that's getting shown around the world live as it happened. Were they terrorists or were they drug dealers? I don't know. I know they were one or the other, or maybe both. This is the French nation's capital, and you're seeing these people battle it out live with guns that they supposedly shouldn't be able to get. Oh. Jeez, don't worry about it. You're apologizing for me being an asshole. You realize that, right? And yes, that episode is up. What he put up was safe. Maybe Cheese and Squatch. I know the two of you communicate otherwise, so maybe you have email connection, and Squatch, you maybe can send her a copy of the section that had to get cut out. I don't mind the world knowing what I'm really like. Before you watch that, though, Cheese, just understand, I treat everybody the same. That's not something to brag about. Horrible people are horrible people. And that's me. On a kind of unrelated note, do not under any circumstances think that you are qualified to judge somebody else for what they are or say they are or how they talk. All right. I'm going to dox myself just this tiny little bit and admit that I follow some bitch I know. L. I think I've vaguely heard that her real first name is Lauren. Her YouTube channel is I think it's just some bitch. I can't remember exactly because she doesn't post on YouTube. She's not uploading to DLive anymore because they're fucking with her. I have seen not less than a dozen people spurg out because her username is some bitch I know. Specifically, bitch. The B word is getting her in trouble with a dozen people. Oh, you can't use that kind of name. So fuck you. I think Squatch knows my BitChute channel, and I know Luke does. You know what I call myself there. It's the F word you can't say here. That's what I call myself. I'm just saying. Now, DLive is actually fucking with L because she uses the word bitch in her username. Oh. Yeah. Luke knows.
More than any of the rest of you, Luke knows just how awful a human being I can be. Oh, by the way, has Travis finally recovered? Or has he finally taken my advice? Please tell me he took my advice. But moving on. I do not think under any circumstances that you are so saintly that you can ever dictate to somebody else what their language will be like. Or I will call you a hajoka and mean every word of it. Hajoka is from the Zentradi language. Literally, it means weak spot, but it is every dirty word they have, every racist, sexist, homophobic, misogynistic, misandrist, it's an accusation that you're weak, that you're stupid. A translation is also traitor. Chiron Kref Shiva, the Hajoka, was hunted down by Brita Itul because somebody had to take care of it. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't Chiron. It was his first lieutenant. What was that guy's name? Chiron and Azonia went out trying to destroy the SDF-1. And it was a pure suicide run, but it worked, sort of. I will call you a hajoka, and I will enjoy it. And Luke can testify. If a Zentradi calls you hajoka, you should seek a permanent solution to your temporary problems. Only I don't mean it like that. I mean it the horrible way. And I'm okay with that. Because I'm a trench rat. That's the nature of my beast. And people don't have to like it. But somebody has to do that job. During World War I, there was a British sniper team, a sergeant and a captain, if I believe, if I recall correctly. They were out hunting any Germans that they could find. They found a German captain, a German officer, taking a bath in the middle of the battlefield. British captain says, I'm a gentleman, and I cannot shoot another gentleman while he is in the bath. That would just be wrong. Turns to the sergeant and he says, you take the shot. The sergeant said, jolly good, sir. Climbed up and took the shot. The German officer ended up dead. That's the difference between a normal human being and a trench rat. And I'm okay with it. Wow. All right, guys. I'm a horrible human being and I'm okay with it. But I'm also an honest, horrible human being. So, ask a couple of questions and then I'm going to wrap this up. Because I'm thinking that the Wednesday or Thursday evening streams need to come down to about an hour. And I'm going to try to avoid subject. I really want to make this the question and answer session and not the sit here and lecture section session because I don't like that either. Oh. While I'm waiting for a question, Cheese Bear asks, what type of tea were you drinking? Black, rose, black rose, black rose. Anyway, the cheap black tea. No, I do not, Gulch. No. And I do know what that means. I have a pierced ear, and I have 4 brands. Doesn't show up very well in here. There it goes. A little bit. Right there, you can see it. Kind of. That's one of them. And they're all crosses or X's. Oh. Yeah. Excuse me. I don't like fancy teas. Black tea or sleepy time, and that's it. And if I did have one of those, Gulch, I wouldn't show it. Yeah, no. Oh, damn it. You know, YouTube's fascist authoritarianism notwithstanding, that's a line I wouldn't cross. And yes, I have a certain degree of red in me there, Luke. I'm okay with it. I also drink coffee and tea. Unlike Robert Barnes, I'd be smoking a cigar right now if I could afford a cigar. I can't. Also, I don't like smoking in the house, but I would do it in a heartbeat if it would just make them mad. By the way, you cannot smoke on a live stream on YouTube. It affects the channel monetization. My channel's not monetized. I don't have 1,000 subscribers. Can't do it. So I also can't post pictures in the community tab. I'd really like to fix that. I know you're just fucking with me, Luke. Don't worry about it. Let me tell you, getting old's not for weak people. I'm still not used to wearing these glasses, and I really don't think this prescription's right. So I'm getting it replaced. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here, unless I see something. Okay. Cheese Bear says, can't smoke cigarettes? Nope. No tobacco use at all. Wow, I've seen so many drunk streams. I didn't say the rules made sense, did I? one of these days, I'm going to turn that camera on. No. First, I'm going to get really, really drunk. Like a whole 6-pack worth. Like when I was in my 30s and my 20s, like when I was on active duty. Not necessarily something to brag about, but anyway. And I'm going to then turn on the camera and I'm going to tell YouTube everything I've ever thought of them. F words and all. Yeah. Turd tube. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Remember that 9017 really is coming. It may not be all in one night, which is even worse. Hopefully it will be all one day and we can just do it and get it out of the way. Like ripping a Band-Aid off. So keep calm. Mandatory carry on. And remember, it's only going to get worse from here, people. I might think about that advice there, Luke. All right. Good night, guys.